Maybe because I have a thing for value, maybe because I'm a value enthusiast, maybe because I protect my values so much. That is the reason why people of value tops my interest list. I subscribe to change as a Nigerian, as a patriotic Nigerian. I really passed through injustice. I've seen how injustice tests. And ever since then, I swore to bring to book anybody who tries to injustice, whether you are actually in the force or you are an ordinary individual. You must definitely come to book. If you use your power, your office to reduce a common Nigerian, thereby making things worse for everyone, because injustice here is injustice everywhere. It's like a virus, it breeds. As long as it's done to someone else, you are left with two choices: either to do it to some other people or to fight against it. I am standing to fight against it. That is the reason why I am in full support of every work, of every move of a very dark man. And I'm also out to fight against any form of distraction against that move. That is the reason why you are seeing this very guy called U1 on my very screen. At this point, I've come to realize that this young man, honestly, I'm a very objective person. When this young man started saying things, from a place of boldness and confidence, I thought this guy had something, and I zoomed my attention on him. Honestly, when I zoomed my attention on this guy, that is when I realized that this guy is nothing less than an empty vessel. Nothing less than it, less than an empty vessel. I've waited on this guy to provide evidence that will shock Nigerians against VDM, against his integrity. And up to this date, this guy thinks that what we are out here to do is to play hide and seek. This guy thinks that what we are out here to do is to do mama tete. Oh, no. Some people are out for real change. Some people are really out for real change. And that is the reason why I'm making this very video. You see this boy, if you have any way to boycott any form of distractions that comes with this VDM-oriented case, him having evidence and him not having evidence, please do it. Do not hesitate. Because this guy at this point, I've come to realize that he is nothing but a distraction, and a funded one at that. At this point, you get to realize that who is actually working for whom. My reason for boycotting this boy is that if there is anything we need in this country right now, we have a lot of distractions already. It's an additional rubbish. We are talking about fixing a country in one way or the other, because we have seen the effect, we are seeing the results on the dashboard, on the billboard. I thought that if there is any distraction that will ever come through maybe an elderly person, but for a young man, that was when I knew that this young man, I've zoomed my attention at him, and I realized that he must be funded. I don't want to say that these people are actually funded. These people are granting interview thing. I started looking at the owners of the platforms he graced. I didn't make any news out of it because I just don't want to settle with surface level information. But then the names of the people who actually own that platforms rings bell. But let's not hold case on that, right? So his confidence you see on the screen is actually obviously coming from a place of, a funded source. Because you can't tell me that a sane person, a sane Nigerian, a sane youth, with the whole thing that is happening in Nigeria right now, you are the only person standing against the movement of light, the movement we've actually seen results. Honestly, I thought you had something on this very guy. Something on this very guy. But then you're just a simple-minded person, lacking common sense and, willing to be swayed, moved around for a few bucks, obviously. Because if you had enough money from all this nonsense that you are doing, it's definitely going to affect the way you reason as well. Or it's definitely going to affect your onlineness. Also affect your bold and confidence, because the so-called bold and confidence looks questionable actually. Very much questionable. Very much questionable. We are out to fix a country. In some areas we can. Everybody can. It's everybody's duty. I was actually looking at that confidence because I was rooting for everybody to stand against things that is not right in the country. Our voice are heard, people's voice are heard. But there was a video where I actually mentioned VDM, and I also mentioned this guy's name, this Scott Nkuma. I mentioned his name the day I addressed the rumor or people saying that VDM was for the government. And I said, what about this guy's confidence? Is he also working for the government? Why is he really against the realtors and the people who are doing illegal things in this very country through real estate? But not until the other day, I saw him making an advert for a particular brand yards, and he said that clothes is actually wearing, trying to prove its authenticity, and said that the price is actually kept at 90,000. I said, what then is the difference? You that is actually speaking against these realtors, you that is actually speaking against these real estate firms, you should understand that even if you place your house or your property with the dollar exchange, and you actually decide to overprice your property, overprice your commodity with a very high naira rate, it's almost the same thing. Because if you look at that very clothes that you're wearing that very day, this is the clothes. This is what you say is 90,000. I trust me, as long as it's actually locally made, what you actually did is just to switch the currency, nothing more. That is why when you sit down and pay attention to some of your videos with this Nigerian branding thing, you see that you are doing almost what you're actually fighting against. You are fighting against the real estate, then you are actually encouraging that people should overprice their commodities in naira. What is that clothes doing at 90,000? Let's be fair, what is that clothes doing at 90,000? What is the point of stretching it actually? If man don't know the quality of engine, most men know the quality of their tops. Personally, I don't see the difference with what you are doing and what you're preaching against. And I must stop you at that, because you're actually encouraging overpricing goods and commodities. Because as far as I can tell, you're actually speaking against overpricing substandard things. Now, remember the reason why you're fighting the realtors. I'm not a realtor. I just want it to be right. Once and for all, let me witness it. I'm witnessing it through VDM. I want to witness it in all levels. You're actually saying that Banana Island and all the rest is not worth the price. Right? And you also defended it by saying that it's just hype. What you actually did with that clothes is just hype. As in surface and deep level hype. That's one. So since it doesn't really matter the celebrity that lives around there, it doesn't really matter the hype. It's not supposed to matter what person who paid you for an advertisement placed his clothes. You should consider the average price that fits the quality. That is exactly what you should be considering, because I believe this is your niche, right? But in this case, what you just sampled, what you just advertised for all these Nigerian brands are nothing but people trying to advertise for high boutique level standards. That's the same thing you are doing with your wall, which I believe this is not what you're actually for. So since you're fighting over pricing of things and places that is not worth it, I think you should reconsider this thing you just picked up with Nigerian goods and commodity. Know if it is your assignment to do. Know if it's actually worth what you're going to tell us. Because to me, it's an encouragement, and I don't need all these things to be encouraged. If you go to boutique, you see nonsense being sold for 90, 100,000. You see nonsense being sold at 50,000. That clothes is not worth 90,000. That's my truth for you. This is something that I have not seen VDM done. If I'm rooting for that guy, I have my reasons, because come on, it takes somebody with level of integrity, discipline, and principle to stay at that level, at VDM's level, at his age. See, money, there's nothing money cannot do. I've not seen an activist, I've not seen someone who is really willing to fight the wrong cause that has never been manipulated along the way with currency, hard and strong and soft currency. Now, for this guy to ignore certain people, not just certain people, ignore taking ads, because he knows that taking ads is going to corrupt his movement. Because you see all these people trying to pay you for ads, they will give you nonsense to promote. And once they offer you a beautiful amount of money in this very country, if they don't offer you for dollar, they'll go offer you for naira. It's very hard to see who is going to skip that. So that is the reason why I said I am rooting for this guy, because he knows this cause. He has invested not just money, he has invested discipline, he has sacrificed a lot. So many pastors you see today, we are once called. What he corrupt them now money? Because the money we are coming. So I know, I don't want to mention names. So many pastors, so many people we know as evangelists, a lot of them we know. I knew when they started very well. You can actually tell how somebody who does things from a place of calling, it's actually a gift. You can tell that when money enter, they know It takes a very disciplined mind to maintain a balance between money and corruption. It takes a greater level of discipline for an African mind not to be corrupted when it comes to money, because an African mind has been programmed that everything you do in life centers on money, and you must be oppressed with it if you don't have. That is the programming of an African mind. So everybody wants that money in many ways. Everybody wants that money. We must do something to have that money. Then you now have the platform that will give you that money in seconds. You decide to ignore it and help. And for those who might want to say, I see this one. So you know, saying they carry the money through NGO. He has to, his VDM is smart. He has to take the money through the NGO form. See, if VDM had decided to collect ad money, they gathered one way, they gather for YouTube and every other thing. You think it's not going to be above the amount? Do you know how much these boys even get for ads? Go and ask Sabinus. My manager actually started Sabinus for my company, for ads for my company. And it happens that Sabinus, our own Sabinus, of course, I believed in his brand. That is the reason why we went for it in the first place. Sabinus charged us close to 20 million for all of his platforms, on his social media. It's to me, it's worth it. Now imagine VDM with so much force. One company that he's actually fighting against can decide to just buy him outrightly. This, ways for the VDM to make money no be here. In fact, I've never seen such niche before. So if you think like this, because you always think left. Sometimes think right. You get it? Sometimes if VDM decides that he wants to settle with, what is it called? The NGO money, he don't settle with anything now. How much is there? How much is there? Many people don't even know how much this online matter brings to people. Many people don't know the weight of online money. Anyway, it's all about the information. My point here is, you see this boy head, please, if you people will listen to me, let there be a serious mass. I don't want to say unfollow him, but don't dignify this guy with hearing, because if you dignify with a hearing, people will have things to say. Lock your ears against this young man, because I've come to confirm to you that he's a distraction. Whether he's funded or not, he's a distraction. If he's funded, he's foolish. If he's still not funded and he's doing from his own capacity, he's still foolish. Avoid this guy. Avoid him.